Welcome, everybody, to That's Good Stuff. We got another round of music to listen to. Well, you can't listen because that's not allowed on YouTube, but we listened. And that album this week is called Reflections by Caskets, and it is their second album. I actually don't know much about this band. Do you know any more?
I don't know much about them, and Michael recommended them to me last year or early this year. And they had a really popular song from their first album called Glass Heart. That was in some memes, but
Really?
that's all I know.
Uh, I gotta check the meme machine. Do they have like a place where you can see old memes?
I
I know
think
they have
so.
places where you can like look up what memes mean, but okay, so this is a 10-track album.
The perfect amount.
Yeah, I like 10 tracks. To be honest, it's not my cup of tea, this type of music. Jared recommended it, so blame him.
It's not really even my cup of tea. It's not hard enough.
Okay. So you said it was the writing's very emo.
Yeah.
Um
Well,
me
me and Michael talked about it last year when we were first introduced them. Their writing is very like immature, and I told
yes.
them if when they grow up or in a couple years, I bet they'd be, because their music's good. But I
There's
said in
one
a couple
song in
years,
particular where I'm like, these guys are so young.
yeah, I think I have that as my one of my notes.
Yeah, I definitely do. So we can get around to that. So their musical style, though, you said it was like post-hardcore. I think you said.
Post hardcore. Yeah, I just saw that it said post hardcore, like emo. I forget the other one.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like 2000s music. I have that as one of my notes, but
Mm-hmm.
you think so too?
Yeah, emo pop.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we go through the tracks? Um, so the first track, I'm gonna try to just say the stuff I like, so it's not so much of a downer
Mm.
review. But the first track's called "Believe," and for my notes, I just have it's a very fast start to this album and gets like right into it.
Yeah, it definitely sets the pace, and I do like the pace of most of this album. I don't think they had much of a slow song at all.
No, it just
Um,
kind of changes. It doesn't slow down. It just like gets softer.
and one of my notes was like, this song, the lyrics don't sound as childish as the last album. Um, I think it was either the pre-chorus or the chorus kind of reminded me of that neighborhood song.
Hmm.
Not Sweater Weather, but the other one, their
Uh,
other hit,
yeah, their other hit. I'm trying to think of what it. Uh,
Afraid.
yes, yes. Okay. Um, man, what happened to that band?
Michael listened to them a lot in their second album, but I don't know if they made anything else after that.
I didn't even hear the second one. The first one was really good. I liked those singles that came out.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next track is called "More Than Misery." Um,
I actually like this song, and I like the guest vocals because the guest vocals is the dude from um, back in the day when our friend group listened to like hardcore stuff and like screamo. It's a dude
really?
from The Word Alive.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess the vocalist
Yeah,
from
I
that band.
have. I didn't like the guest vocals. I thought the chorus was okay on this song.
Yeah.
Um, they kind of have kind of like a Linkin Park type sound to them, I guess.
Mm. It's definitely like 2000s to like 2010 kind of sound, and I don't know exactly what.
Yeah, it's hard to pin down.
And as one of my notes, it was like, I think they're better with choruses than verses.
Yeah, it seems very. They're like very that kind of band that kind of forces lyrics and stuff like that.
Yeah, they like don't have the right words
Yeah,
to like convey what they're wanting to say.
yeah, you could tell kind of bands that have trouble with the melody, and they kind of force the lyrics that they want. I have that for one song. But let's go to track 3, In the Silence. And he's screaming. He says he's screaming.
I like this one. This is one of my favorites from this one. I like the drums in it. It's not doing anything fancy, but it is like making it like an anthem kind of song, like an anthem rock kind of song.
I
But yeah, I
didn't
do like this song.
I it was okay. I didn't care for the part where it gets softer.
Mhm.
Because that kind of reminds me of Linkin Park in their soft era. If you
Yeah,
remember that, I was like, "Ugh, I don't want to be reminded of
their
that.
Transformers days.
Yeah. And then the fourth track is called "Too Late." It's a change of pace, but unfortunately, I this is probably my least favorite song on it.
This is the best song on the album,
Really?
and it's so good until this part where there's talking and it becomes really dumb. And then I checked out a little, but it's not a bad song.
That's interesting. So because the next song is called, it's the fifth track, it's called By the Sound, and this is one of the songs that I kind of like. There was two songs that I thought were the best on the album,
Mm.
and I keep going back and forth, but this is probably one of my favorite songs on the album.
I don't have any notes for this one. It's just just in my notes says not good, not bad.
Really?
Yeah.
This has a very bright sound to it.
Yeah. I don't like that.
And it's very 2000s in style.
Mm.
That's what it this is like like I was saying, Linkin Park kind of in their soft era. It's kind of like that music. Um okay, so this is the one, the sixth
Six
track
feet deep.
is 6 feet deep, 6 feet down.
Oh damn.
And this is the one where I had problem with the lyrics the most, where I thought they were the force. It's like we gotta fit in this 6 feet deep thing, but
Yeah. This is the point in my notes where I'm like, this sounds like Papa Roach or like Trapped, just like early 2000s. But
Mhm.
I think I did have that thought too, as the lyrics were kind of taking a dip on this track.
Okay, and then 7 Silhouettes. This is kind of another softer song, I guess. And
I like this one more though
you like this one?
than the other one.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I didn't care for. I
There,
don't really care for their softer stuff, which is weird.
yeah, I like their fast like stuff, but there was a like an effect in this where it almost sounded like violins,
Hmm.
and I liked it the little like kind of change in texture, I guess.
And for the eighth track, this is the other song that I think might be the best song on the album. It's called "Guiding Light." It has a very cool start to it.
Mhm.
I like the drums. I kind of wish the whole album kind of had this sound to it. Um,
In my notes, I just said this song is dope. There's cool Mega Man X guitars in it out towards the bridge.
yeah, it had a cool kind of like darkness to the music.
Yeah,
I like the chorus and I like the fade out. I like how they faded out the song. But
yeah. This one
I
was definitely probably second best for me.
yeah, I kind of wish the whole album sounded more like this. And then we go to track
So
number
I
8.
thought they were gonna get heavier like in this album because the last one was the first, and
Mhm.
it kind of had was leaning towards like heavier stuff. And I thought they were just gonna do what other bands like this do, just go full heavy or like death metal. But it stayed pretty much like their first one, but somehow it sounds 2000s, even though the guys are super young.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's younger than me though, so everyone sounds younger than me. Number 9 track is Hate Me. This is kind of a driving drum track I have. put down.
In my notes, I just have there's a ton of cringy parts in this song.
Mhm.
It's full of cringe, and
It was really cringy the first time I listened to it, and then the second time I was like, "Oh, okay, I kind of get what they're going for." But
yeah, unfortunately, the last two songs kind of like I could just
yeah,
cut off the album.
yeah, number 10, Better Way Out. All I have written down is terrible.
Yeah, this one's pretty bad. It's like everything bad about their first stuff was concentrated in this one. Maybe a leftover song, I don't know, but it is pretty bad.
Yeah, so it's very much like, since I just found out that it's their second album, but you can kind of tell they're kind of still trying to find their sound and find kind
Like I
of.
said, they just need to like mature, and then I'm sure they'd be really good. Because a lot of their like instrumental work is great. It's just
I
like their lyrics and like sometimes the dude's voice. Like this is my issue with British bands. Like it's too British
hmm,
because I don't know if they're actually British, but it sounded
I
British.
know. I did
Like
sound British to me.
it sounded like there was an accent like most of the thing, and I was like, I don't know if I like this. So
Yeah, I just
let me double
remember.
check on that because
I remember hearing the guy's voice, and I was like, "Wow, this guy is really young. He sounds like a kid."
yeah,
But everyone's a kid compared to me now. That's why I mostly listen to older music now. And I really
that's
rarely
why you
find
really
new.
like the Queens of the Stone Age review.
Yeah, that's why I rarely find like new stuff to listen to, just because I don't. I like a more mature voice in the vocalist for the main singer. It's just like the weird thing that happens to you when you get older. I think you don't want to hear people singing that sound younger than you.
And then
Um,
then you can't relate to the music because you're not going through what you went
yeah.
through years ago. It's kind of like anime now. Like they are English, thank God. It's like when we watch anime and they're still it's all nothing but high schoolers, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I don't need this again.
Yeah, you kind of wish you're like, man, can we have some college kids or something? can we can we have some adults now or something? But yeah, so for this album, I like the album cover. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Um,
their art is always really good. I don't know who does it, but
it kind of made me wish their music was a little more digital sounding, like electronic rock.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like a heavy like synth rock.
Yeah, that's what I thought I was getting, and then it just kind of
Yeah.
was this sound. But
Well,
because
I've been going through like a second hardcore phase. Like I said, we're really into it like when we were a teenager, like 15, 17.
Mhm.
And then most of the guys dropped off heavily, but I always kept with it. And then like now kids are going back to it like on YouTube and stuff. And there's some good stuff coming out. Like
So you're listening to like new stuff?
yeah. So there's two bands I've been looking at, or a few bands. Especially one that Michael recommended was Bad Omens.
Mhm.
That's probably one of the biggest new hardcore bands, and they're really good. And then a band called Era, which I found, and they're just like they're really good because their guitar work, even their guitar work, their all the instruments are super technical. They're tapping, they're like doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Um, they're the band that I said kind of reminds me of Secret and Whisper back in the day,
Mm.
just because the vocal kind of matches. But they have the good balance of heavy vocals, screaming, and then clean vocals. Because I can't listen to just straight
Straight screaming.
growling and screaming anymore.
Yeah.
That's like one thing I can't like do anymore. But they have a nice mixture.
Yeah,
And
I've
then the
always preferred the mixture.
mhm,
I like to build up to the screaming.
yeah, I like yeah, like context for the song, like it builds and then they finally scream is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then one more band I wanted to shout out because I just found them. They're called Neon Graves, and they're actually Amarillo boys. And
Hey.
I know I'm a Lubbock guy, but these guys are putting out some good stuff.
Hey, you might can take a trip up there and see
I
them,
know I'm gonna have to see them live because they're really good,
or
and
maybe
they
they'll
have the
come
good
down to
mixture
Loving.
too.
Maybe they'll
Yeah.
come down to Loving. Go to Jake's.
Oh, that place is small.
um, yeah, and then they built that Bucky's in Amarillo. You can go see a concert and eat some
And
good
the
barbecue
after
after.
concert meal.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. But that's gonna do it for this album review. More to come.
I think 30 Seconds to Mars is coming out with a new album soon, and Royal Blood.
Yeah, so we'll try to check out the newest stuff. If you have any recommendations, put them in the comment. We'll always, I mean, we try to keep stuff current just because that's kind of our channel. But
But
we
we're
could
not
always,
afraid to do some old stuff.
yeah, we could do some retro every once in a
Don't
while.
tempt us.
Don't do. Okay, so like, subscribe, and notify yourself. I always say that wrong. Notify yourself for even more good stuff to come, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.